Hi, good evening to everyone and good noon to Bhanu from India. Well, to set the stage right, let me introduce myself first. My name is Vijay Tandon and currently I'm serving at Universal Business School in the capacity of a director for NBA Accredited PGDM program and international portfolio, which includes our global partners from University of Economics, Bulgaria, Swiss School of Management, Italy, INSIC Paris, and two from United States, Lincoln University and Northeastern Illinois University. Well, during my corporate stint, I worked in sales, marketing, product management, and consultancy for global organizations like GE, Tyco, and AstraZeneca. As I was passionate about transforming business, I was equally passionate about transforming lives. So took the leap of faith and joined the knowledge industry. So this is all about me, folks. Now let us focus on the theme of the webinar, something you have been waiting for which the learners are connected today. And I think definitely the question on the mind is, can you make a global career from an Indian business school? Well, before that, we should all ask a very important question. Why global education is important for us in today's time? Well, when you think of the global world economy today, the forces of globalization and aggressive global expansion plans has resulted in US, Chinese companies coming to India or Indian companies going to those countries. Well, collaborations between them, integration of two different cultures due to mergers and acquisitions has triggered to a rise in demand for a leader to manage and lead in such diverse organizations. So it is imperative you must become a global product, a global manager. However, you will need specific skills for being successful in such roles. For instance, I'm sure you would agree, a deep understanding and knowing the dynamics of the economic, cultural, political, of course, technological and environmental influences across the world. Well, another challenge would be managing a very diverse and a multicultural team, and of course, providing solutions to a global customer. I think we are all today are global customers, aren't we? So all these demands for a global degree with a curriculum with international orientation complemented with serious immersive learning opportunities. Now that we have addressed the relevance of global education, let us come to our original $1,000,000 question. And the question is, can you make a global career from an Indian business school? Well, the $1,000,000,000 answer is a big yes. And now we have a live example here. But before we introduce him to all, let me read if there are few questions from the learners. I know it's too early. We just kick started. And those who have not put any questions, I would also urge them to continuously put their questions in the chat box, which we will definitely address maybe during the session or during nearing the end of the session. So without taking much time, in the interest of clock, let me finally take this opportunity to introduce one of my shining stars, Bhanu Pratap, who is working in Paris and has successfully accomplished his global management program from Universal Business School, which not only provided him with a global degree, but also with global immersion and most importantly, a career opportunity in Europe. So my dear Bhanu, I will invite you now to share with us your transformational journey from just being a learner to having a global career. Over to you, Bhanu.
Thank you so much, sir. Hi, folks. I'm Bhanu Pratap. As Vijay sir has already told you that I've pursued my postgraduate diploma from Universal Business School, followed by MBA in marketing and brand management from INSEC Business School, Paris. In addition to that, my program has also provided me another MBA from SSM, Swiss School of Management, Italy. And currently I'm working for a US-based company named Sierra Living Concept. I'm working as an operations manager for Europe. And yes, that's about me. Back to you, Vijay sir.
Thank you, Banu, for that quick introduction. Proud of you. Well, Banu, as you know that we have many aspiring global leaders who are listening to us today. right? What a great opportunity, I must say, for the two of us, right? So let me ask you some trigger questions. And I'm sure through this interactions, you can share your experiences, well, quote unquote, success mantra, which led to you having a global career. I'm sure, Bhanu, you're all set. So can I
Yes,
shoot my first question to you, Bhanu?
definitely, sir.
Okay, Bhanu, I'm very excited, in fact, as a program director, to know what attracted you the most to UBS and specifically to the global management program.
Well, it's very simple, to be honest. I have three major points that I would like to mention about UBS. For me, when I was searching for the colleges and for a platform where I can really gain all the master's knowledge. First point about UBS I liked was it's a green business school. I thought it would be really nice to go in a school where where there's a peace, it provides the environment where I can acquire the skills and knowledge. Yes, that was one. Second was experiential learning. When I came and I met you and Tarun sir, I was run through the pedagogy, the vision and the mission that UPS follows, and it really made me. It convinced me that yes, I want to be a part of such an institute. And yes, it was really nice. And also, yes, there was Thomson Router, if I'm correct. Yes. UBS is the only school in Asia. I think only third school, right, sir, to
Yeah.
have Thomson Router.
True.
Yes, there was one, and yes, the main point, since our school, my school, I say my school because yes, I have studied there. It is endorsed by 60 CEOs, which really provides the brand promise. And yes, at UBS, when they say transforming lives, yes, it really transformed my life, and I'm proud of that.
Bhanu, you just made me walk down the memory lane. Of course, we remember all those interactions, and we are glad that you have benefited from experiential learning. And rightly, you mentioned about the Thomson Reuters Global Trust Asset Trading Room, where students can actually invest in the market. Of course, the money is no show, but the experience is real. Well, just to add for the benefit of the audience here, those who want to aspire or have aspirations for becoming a global leader, well, I would love to add that Bhanu actually picked up one of the global management program from UBS. Well, we do have a plethora of other global management programs, and our global partners, I did mention in my introduction, are based at USA, Europe, and UK. Well, Bhanu, we would be very much also excited to learn from you, understand from you, what opportunities did UBS provide to develop and showcase your skill sets to prepare you for a global career. Over to you, Bhanu.
Well, I would like for this question, I would like to thank all the clubs. I think there are many clubs. Is it 18 at the moment?
Yes.
Yes. So I would like to thank all the clubs, especially to one club, that's UBS Innovation Club, where I got an opportunity to be the president at the club and work along with my peers. And other clubs to organize a lot of events and under competitive environment, and where I learned the business negotiation talks. We're talking about event management, we're talking about the conflict management, peer-to-peer review, which I believe is very important. And yeah, it was all under a very spirited and competitive environment, which was a big learning. And yeah, it really improves the skill set.
Well, great, Bhanu. And I would like to add, Bhanu, that other than the 18 clubs, right, which are still operational, we are still, adding few more clubs. I think the next could be maybe an incubation club. But other than that, our focus has always been on striving to develop an innovative curriculum relevant to the global economy, right? So this is for you, Bhanu. This is something new as a concept we have brought in for a better learning, for more immersive learning for our learners. And we have titled this concept as CMAPS. So it's basically collaborative, multidisciplinary approach towards problem solving. And we provide these opportunities to the first year learners. So the beauty is the students are actually required to understand the real business problems and provide strategic solutions. And the cherry on the cake is they do this much before their internship. So this is a new add in the pack in terms of experiential learning, where students get an opportunity to do their live project, industry expedition. They can do this in their term 2 or term 3, or to make it simple for the learners out here, for aspiring managers, in the very first year, they have the opportunity to do this. Well, Bhanu, my next question, very important, another one that is very important is, can you list top 5 advantages of this global immersion program that led to your global career?
Definitely. First, I would like to inform the viewers that I chose the Global Management Program, SSM. It was a collaboration between Universal Business Schools, School of Management, and Interact Business School, where I studied 1 year at UBS and 1 year in Paris. When I came to the Paris, the first thing, when we talk about the advantage was the international exposure I got. When you come up out of India, you see the different approaches people have towards the business, the decision-making process, and overall, it's completely different. It's like you have just dive into a new ocean where you have to explore everything. So international exposure was one thing. Second was practical learning. When you study with students from all around the the world, we had people from Africa, we have people from Europe, we have people from Asia. It was a mix of all the culture. So it was very nice when we did study together. It was very practical with the pedagogy that are followed by all 3 different business schools. I also did with this program, I did 2 internships. One was in India, one after my 6 months of study in Paris, I did an internship. So it was really good to learn from industry expert. The third one, if I have to point out, I would say the cultural adaptation. When not only, like, I'm not talking about abroad, but even at UBS, I think UBS attracts students from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, and from Rajasthan to, I say, the northeast part. So we had a lot of diverse culture at the UBS. But yeah, when I came to Paris, it was all new. To adapt to the French culture, the different mindset. So there was one thing. Peer-to-peer learning would be the 4th point that I would like to mention, because even at UBS, the environment was quite competitive, but it was high-spirited. No doubt that when we came to Paris, I remember we were a group of Indians from UBS. We came, and there were a lot of people. They were expecting tough competition, and we really give them good, because we really had edge over them. When we studied 1 year at UBS, we already knew a lot of things that they still wanted to learn. The 5th point would be, like, when challenges become opportunities. It's very important, and one should keep it in the mind that life will always challenge you, but you have to do your best to make it turn it into opportunity. That was one advantage, because, and me as an Indian student, I'm coming from Karjat to Paris, learning all the things and getting a job. Yes, it was a challenge, but I made it into an opportunity, and I'm really happy. Over to you, sir.
Okay, so echoing sentiments of Banu, I would like to share, through this global immersion, learners gain international exposure, they gain international experience, that too at a very early stage of their life. They learn from international faculty, from peers, and of course, develop a global outlook. I'm 100% sure, Bhanu, you will definitely bet on this. Maybe adapting to that would have not been that difficult or that very challenging. As you already tasted diversity, you experienced that at UBS, because UBS is nothing less than a melting point of all the states in India. I hope that did help you.
Yes, definitely, sir. My roommate was from Hyderabad, one was from Uttar Pradesh, one was from Uttarakhand, I'm from Rajasthan. Then there was so many states in one particular, the villa we were staying in, the college. It was amazing.
Great. Banu, my next one, again, I'm 100% sure all the aspiring global leaders here are paying attention to this, and this can be one of their key concerns, maybe in terms of they being nervous maybe sometimes in a dilemma, I think your inputs on this will give them a lot of confidence. I'll definitely ask this question. Also, in the meantime, when you answer, I would go to the chat box and see if there are any
Yes.
questions for the two of us. So my next one to you, Banu, is very important again, right? Of course, all the questions are important, but this I think will give them a lot of confidence in terms of taking a decision, right? So if you can share your challenges in terms of adaptation, in terms of living and working in a very cross-cultural environment.
Yes, definitely. I would say because I came to Paris, and I think all the other countries, English is spoken very well, but in France, if you're planning to come to France, please do some basic preparation for French, because though I did prepare, but it was a bit difficult with the language barrier. So yes, it's Paris. Everyone wants to come, but yes, you need to understand, if you're not able to communicate with people, it would not be so much of charm in Paris. So that was one adaptation challenge. It was for me. Living, it's really nice. The French government, they really support students. There are a lot of allowances. There are a lot of reduction that you would be benefited with as an Indian student. Yes, one thing I would like to point out, because I do get a couple of calls from the student asking about UBS and the INSEC. Once you finish your degree, you have 2 years to look for the job, which is really nice. Thanks to the Prime Minister and the French government, they have a tie-up. All the other countries, except a few, they just have 1 year, but we as an Indian, we have 2 years to look for the job in France. So that's really a good advantage that you can take to look for the opportunity. About the cultural thing, I would like to inform you that Europeans are upfront, and we as an Indian, we need to learn how to decline requests, because it's in our genes to say yes sir, yes sir. We need to say things that you cannot do. You need to say yes. No, I'm really sorry, but I cannot do that. So yeah, but with an open mindset and to do attitude, it should not be like, oh no, I cannot. But yeah, that's one thing I would like to inform everyone that they should be aware of. Yeah.
So Banu, I must say you left no scope for me to add to this, right?
You always have something to add, I'm sure.
Okay, so the best part is, Banu, definitely the learners here are very much interested, and that is where, see, the reflection is coming in from. There are a couple of messages. I think few I would take and few I would pass to you, because you have experienced that. So I'll take the first one, being the leader. That is what the leaders must do: first take the challenge and then pass it on to you, right? So there is a very good question, I think a very important one. Banu, you remember my wow cards?
Correct? Yes, exactly,
Anything?
sir. I have few still with me.
Wow, great. So anytime you do something outstanding or you ask me $1 million question, of course I do give $1 billion answer, but you used to get a wow card, right? So right, I wish I had a wow card. There is a question coming in from Niharika, and a very good question she's asking is, how does the accreditation of a business school factor into a job in the global marketplace? Of course, yes, I'm taking that question, Banu. So if you really look into the start of this particular webinar, where I started my introduction by not just saying that I'm a director of PGDM program, I think with a lot of pride, I did mention NBA accredited PGDM program. Well, what is very important is accreditations reflect quality, correct? And quality is routine at UBS. So when the institution is accredited, first we need to understand accreditation does not come from an internal body, right? It's a third party which does all the checks, not only in just terms of delivery, but every single area of an organization. And when they are able to meet that or exceed that expectations, then only the colleges or the institutions land up getting accreditations, right? For example, PGDM program at UBS is NBA accredited. As a leader, let me share this in the open forum. Now we are preparing for AACSB. Fine. And just to give you quick examples, one of the global management program that we offer is Northeastern Illinois University, which is AACSB accredited. So definitely yes, but what is very important as a learner, when you go to an employer, I think you also need to talk about that. But definitely yes, it does have a positive impact, and it can become a selling point when you go for your jobs. So Banu, I think I'll put this question for you. This comes in for, I think from Harshal, how to get shortlisted for every company which comes to campus as a marketeer.
Well, thank you, Harshal. It's really a question that I had in mind a couple of years before. Well, you can't really do much about it, but you can be positive. See, not every job profile would be your job profile. It would not match, you have to be a little bit open-minded about it. But yes, what you can do, you gain the knowledge when they're teaching. What we do, it's like, I have a year, I don't have to worry, I will learn. And at the end of the year, you know nothing, Jon Snow, if I quote. So yeah, I mean, you need to be attentive. You need more. In addition to what you learn at the classroom, you also need to do self-learning, self-evaluation, motivated always to learn new thing. And then yes, when you have edge over your roommate or your classmate, yes, you will be shortlisted definitely. But you need to be positive. You need to be patient. You need to have a to-do attitude, which I think would be really important as a fresher to be shortlisted. But yes, always keep in mind, not every job profile would meet your skills. Maybe you are overqualified. Maybe it's a different it's a different sector, or maybe a different work skill that required. So you don't have to be upset about or get depressed. You just need to be positive.
Okay.
Am I right, sir?
Yeah, sure. So we'll take more queries, more questions for sure. But I think I would love to go to the next question, right? So the idea is basically, this is where you are giving them more insights, right? Of course, we'll take the questions. If we are not able to complete that, right, then of course I can always take it. I can share my email ID. They can give me a call. But right now I would put this question to you so that you can, tell them the real secrets of how to really make a global career. So Banu, as a global ambassador, is what we treat you as, correct? And definitely that comes from the bottom of our heart. So answer this one. As a global ambassador, any best practices which you have experienced at the partner university and which you would like UBS to incorporate so that, we create more value for our learners?
Definitely. I mean, to be honest, we already have a lot of things that at UBS we did a lot of projects which we did in INSEC as well. But yeah, I mean, the UBS, what we did very special at INSEC was we did a project for a company which was actually in the business, and we did the business plan. We designed a product, and we presented the project in front of the employees of the company. The name of the company was Caron, C-A-R-O-N. It's a perfume brand. We designed a new product for them, and that was something I really yes, UBS can do more. A partnership with the companies, and a student can actually get the learning, the real practical thing, which when they have to present in front of the client, actually, it would be really nice. But yes, overall, I think UBS is I remember doing consultancy project. I remember doing live project. I remember writing the paper, like research paper, thesis, which really made me think more and more what I have learned, how I can impart everything in that particular thing. So yes, we have all the things, but still, I mean, not everyone is perfect. But yeah, people will always say, you don't have that. But it's small things we can do. But overall, for me, what I learned in UBS was really amazing, and I'm really proud of it. So we have a lot of projects.
So Banu, as a leader, I take your valuable inputs with an open mind, and will get some of that incorporated at UBS, because you know that UBS is a learner-centric organization, right?
Yes, sir.
I'll take one question which is coming in from a participant named Rajesh. I would take that, but I would read out for the audience. And the question from Rajesh is, how to be a top earner globally? Well, Rajesh, don't mind my words, right? Just take a precious dose of advice. Rather, I would say one should be more interested to know how to be a top learner globally, because I'm sure Bhanu would agree, more learning is equal to more earning. I think there is a known quote which comes in from a very wise man, which says that an investment in knowledge pays the best returns. So Rajesh, definitely what I think the organizations look for are the competencies, the capabilities, the right attitude, correct? That is very important. That is very important. So I think the focus of the learner should not be on earning first. It should be on learning, because more learning definitely results in more earning. I'm sure, Bhanu, you would agree to that.
Yeah, definitely, sir. Definitely, I agree to that, sir. One needs to keep the glass half empty to be able to acquire more and more. Knowledge can come from anyone. And remember, your critic is your best teacher.
Sure. Bhanu, I'll take another one. Okay, the two of us can answer this, of course.
Sure.
So this comes from Satvik. Of course, one of the key concerns for all the learners, and let me not shy away, I know this is getting recorded, also from parents, has been, the placements, correct? Where everybody believes that placement is the final outcome, or that is the end result of a program. So the question is, how are international placements in global business schools? Well, Bhanu, if I were to answer, again, I would say, if you become employable, when you become capable, right? And that is
Right.
what is very important. Building capability is very important. And I think the world is changing fast. I think there are numerous opportunities for one to invest in different areas, different fields. For example, Banu, when I did my MBA in 2003, there was nothing called as business analytics. There was nothing called as data analytics, nothing called as data science. So the world is changing fast. When I look back, it's completely different. The landscape has radically changed. And that is where I personally believe the focus should be more on building or creating new capabilities. I think that's
Right.
very important. Again, I would say that, of course, the placements are good, no doubts about it. But also, I would say that it is not just the program that makes a difference. I think it is also the individual efforts that really counts. Correct? That's very important. I'm sure Bhanu would agree to this. In a program, right, there might be, let's say, 30 students or 60 students, but not everybody gets the same job. Not everybody would get the same package, right? So what is very important is your individual efforts also matters a lot. Anything you would like to add to this, Bhanu?
I would just like to add, sir, as you said, not every individual is same. Yes, that's the main thing. We are humans. We are not a canned packed food, which has to follow the standard. And we all came with different quantity and quality. So we should be open for the challenges. When he asked about, I remember when he asked about the international placement, I remember a lot of people saying that we don't get placed, there's no jobs and all. My only answer to them is like, you say that when you don't have a job, when there are no jobs on the the Glassdoor, Indeed, Naukri. When that board is empty, then you can say there are no jobs. There are always jobs. It's just not meeting with our skill. So we need to have that skill to be able to fulfill what their requirement. And yes, there are a lot of jobs, there are a lot of money. Just for viewers to know, in France, if you need to have a work visa, you need to have a job, which is called CDI, which are long-term job. The average salary would be 2,100 euros per month. And one euro is 89 INR, if I'm not wrong. So you can imagine the placement that you would be getting if you have the skills and which you would be gaining. But yes, as sir said, personal development is required, and self-evaluation would be the key thing that you have to be concerned about.
And in one line, I would say, during the crisis, during this pandemic, we got 10 students in Deloitte. Of course, I'm talking about from UBS placement lens, right? We got 10 students during this crisis, right, placed in Deloitte. So just imagine if we can do this in crisis, what do we do when it's a normalcy period, right? So
Yes,
definitely
exactly.
yes, but again, I would say not necessary, the package is that very important. For example, I recall, Banu, from our conversations where you had certain dream companies, and I did ask you, Banu, what if they don't pay you anything as maybe, as your stipend fees? And I recall, Banu, that statement from you, the dialogue coming in from you, sir, what is very important for me, if I get a chance to work for these companies, is not the earnings, it's the learnings. So if I get an opportunity to work for a company like Google, and even if they're not going to pay me, I think I would definitely be taking that opportunity. And that is how I would build myself. And I would definitely, have more learnings from that organization and then cash that later. So that's very important. Banu, my next question to you is, what do you think is the current trend in global careers, and what are the prerequisite skills a student should possess?
The current trend we have already, I think, on the last question we discussed, there are requirements, and even with the pandemic, companies they are hiring, and there are a lot of requirement, but people don't match the requirement to have the prerequisite. What for me personally, I believe one should be resilient, one should have a to-do attitude, one should have the open mindset. Analytical thinking is very important because not everything goes just like that. I've done my masters, I'll get a job. No, it would not be. We need to be. You need to be patient. You need to be optimistic, even after several rejection. Like for me, before I got my job, I sent, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000 mails to get an internship, and then I got one. So yes, life is challenging. One need to be optimistic and be patient. You will get your, they say, apna time aayega, your time will come. You
Very
just need to
rightly
be
said.
patient.
Yes, Bhanu, well, just to add to that, of course, I mean, there might be a bit repetition because I have to reinforce, your statement, because I strongly believe that. But if I were to cut it short, I would say life skills like problem solving skills, in my view, I think actually tops the skilling list. That's more critical, right? Bhanu, I'm sure you would agree, post your MBA program or any professional course for that matter. And if you land up maybe, let's say, in oil and gas, or you land up in healthcare or biotech or automotive, FMCG, semiconductors, I think every organizations, they do have problems. And I think what they are really looking for is the right candidate, right? The right mindset, the right attitude, who can actually help the organizations to
Right.
provide with strategic solutions. So I think that stops the skilling list. And other than that, as Bhanu rightly mentioned, critical thinking, analytical thinking, a bent of mind, and I think most importantly, adaptive attitude is that very critical. So thank you for that insights as well. Bhanu, I'm just thinking, should I go on to the next question, taking in from the chat, or maybe we'll directly go on to the next one, right? So let's take this question. I think this is coming in from Saurav. Let's pay respect to the aspiring global leaders of tomorrow. The question is, Bhanu, what are the major differences in top business schools of India versus business schools of abroad? And is 100% placement a myth? So there are two questions for us. Yeah.
Can I go, sir?
Yep.
Can I take this one? Hi, Saurabh. Thank you so much for posting this question. To start with, I mean, I'm no professor. I'm just giving my as a review as a student, and I come from Rajasthan. I'm not from Mumbai, so you can imagine from what background I come. So the difference would be in Indian B school, Indian pedagogy is always with the theoretical knowledge and more focus on written examination and all. That's different in when you go abroad. There you have group activities. There are hardly any examination. They're just evaluation. Second thing would be the knowledge that you get in Indian B school is far, far, far more than what you get taught in abroad, because we believe in always believe in giving extra in India. We are taught when I came to Paris, I started studying the course. There were a lot of things my colleagues they were asking, and for me I knew that thing because I've learned that in at UBS. So we have this advantage. A lot of people from abroad they come to India to learn because they knew that we have a quality. Abroad also they have quality. I mean, in Paris we learn from a lot of industry expert. It's just the two different cultures. You study in India with the expertise from Indian business. When you go abroad, they have this different approach. So there's you just think that, oh, this one is better. No, it's just the same. It's further enhanced, or what I can say. But when we talk about the placement, 100% placement, do you think? I mean, if when a college says we have 100% placement, but the placement goes to like 30,000, 40,000, we would consider that. I would not. I would not comment much about it. But yes, if you have a skill, as we already discussed, I discussed with the Vijay sir. even if the company pays me nothing, I would like to work for the company because I get the learning. So yeah, that would be one thing I would want you to adapt, that go for the companies wherein you have learning more than earning, because you have your whole life to earn as much as you can. I'm really sorry, sir. I may have gone here and there, but yeah, I will leave it to you, sir.
Okay, so on a quick note, when it comes to UBS, right? If I talk from the UBS lens, from the UBS perspective, yes, I think for last many years in a row, we have closed successfully 100% placement. And I think the learner should be more interested to know, or they should be more curious. How do we do that? Of course, it's a collaborative effort, but let me say that there is a very structured approach, right? We have a mentoring system every week, right? And that is where it's a ratio of 1:10. And a mentor plays a vital role in understanding the strengths and weakness, or limitations rather, of a learner, correct? And does also inspire and ensures to build the right employability skills. Now, Banu, what we have added at UBS is a very serious investment in skill development. So we have a director for skill development. Now that's a unique amalgamation of skill development with mentoring. So all that we identify as concerns, as gaps, are actually now, taken care. All these are bridged by skill development. And that is where it makes a difference. And of course, our dynamic placement team that brings in companies, and that is where we have ensured that, we bring in the right opportunities for our learners. And we do have certain sessions with them. For example, we do boot camps with them. So let's say Amazon is going to come to our campus, then maybe we will do a boot camp. So any professor who has expertise in that area. So let's say if it is coming in from operations, right? So because all the faculty at UBS, they have solid industry experience, right? We have been there in the field. And that is what is so very unique about UBS. So we do boot camps. Well, without taking much time, Bhanu, I'll go on to the next question. And I think to give you a relief, of course, that would be the last question, but we will take the questions from the chat box, right? And we will continue to answer that. So Bhanu, the last one, another important question is, do you think Indian business schools should more and more include practices that makes the curriculum more global and open for students?
Yes, it's a big yes, definitely. But I would also like to add that I have already benefited from all this thing at UBS with the global pedagogy, with the experiential learning, coming from a very experienced pool of faculty. So I have already benefited, and yes, I'm really proud and I'm really thankful to you and to all the faculty members at UBS for giving us such a platform. Yes, sir.
I completely concur with you and strongly believe that, it will foster a collaborative mindset, which will appreciate a diverse and inclusive society, and will create, I would say that hopefully, right, definitely will create responsible leaders, most importantly with a global outlook. And I think this is what UBS does, and have created global opportunities for its learners. And I think, Bhanu, you are one such example in front of us.
Thank you so much. Means a lot, sir.
So of course, we will take questions from the audience, but to conclude basis this interactions, I would say for a global career, a global degree with international curriculum and global immersion, I think is the new currency. And I'm sure, Bhanu, you would agree to this.
I completely agree with you, sir.
So Bhanu, the two of us now will, if there are any questions unaddressed, I think I would take that. Let me go through the chat box and quickly come back. So the good news is, Bhanu, I think we have addressed almost all the questions of the learners. And I think the two of us should definitely be thankful to all the learners for their valuable time. And I'm sure there will be many more, Bhanu, that I will see from the program, correct? You have been one of the most promising students, definitely. And that is the reason we say you are a global brand ambassador for Universal Business School.
Thank you so much.
Any words of wisdom or any free dose of advice, I'll say, Bhanu, to the learners?
I'd just like to tell them that, yes, keep your glass half empty to gain more and more knowledge. I repeat myself, knowledge can come from anywhere and from any place. So don't think that you know everything. You never know everything. Just keep yourself, just have a open mindset and ready to learn anything and everything you want and you can. So yeah.
Okay, let me before we log out, let me see if there are any more questions. I think no. So definitely, I think we have addressed all the learners. So finally, a big thank you and all our best wishes, Banu, to you for your future endeavors. And I
Thank
think I, on behalf of UBS family, I would, really be thankful to all the learners, because it's, late evening time after a taxing day, paying attention that through, in a virtual world, I think means a lot. And this reflects the learners who are connected here are seriously concerned about having a global career. And I think my best wishes with them for their future endeavors. Well, I would try to share my email ID as well. And I think when this video gets released, I will try to put it there. And if there are any questions, we'll definitely take it from the audience. Thank you, Bhanu. Thank you so much.
you so much, sir.
And have a wonderful day ahead.
You
Thank you.
too, sir. It's afternoon here. Yeah. See you, sir.
Great day.